The meat.
The meat, the chunk, the sizzle. That's why we're here. It's why you came. It's why you showed up. And man, this is so much fun. A big movie is coming up here in December 2021. Spider-Man No Way Home. And the franchises seem like they're coming together. We've gotten teases of different Sony properties coming into this movie, multiverse aspects. We don't know exactly what to expect, but we know that it's going to have parts of other movies from our past. Because of that, we took a page out of Phase Zero comic book podcast, and we decided to rewatch the classics. Spider-Man 2002 was last week. We started off with that one, and this week is all about the sequel. A Marvel movie, a Sony movie. It's on Stars. It's Spider-Man 2, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, and who play and
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina. I always want to say Walter Hamada. I always want to say that. It's not the same guy. different universe, different job, all the different things. But this is the movie. The movie came out in 2004, just 2 years later. Going to give it up right now for this flick. We're going to break it down. Get some of this out of the way. The movie came in with a $200 million budget. Just for frame of reference, it's about $60 million more than the first movie. And this one made $789 million at the box office. Actually, about $40 million less than the first film. Just not quite as much. Big spoiler alert right now. Want to do some gut checks because, Scotty, the reason you're here, at the end of the day, you texted me yesterday, asked if we were recording. You were prepared to leave a voicemail.
Yes.
On the studio phone. And the reason was, you said this is one of your favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely.
So I said, why don't you get in here and talk about this film? What is it about this one that keeps you coming back? Is it still one of your favorites today? Was it just then? How do you feel about this thing?
I watched it again last night, and I think it's still up there. I would definitely put this in my top 10 of superhero movies in general. And for the longest time, until maybe the original Avengers, I think that this movie kind of set the bar for what superhero movies could and should be. I think they got so much right with the villain and the actor, Alfred Molina.
Yeah, great.
Perfect. Growing up reading Spider-Man comics, just seeing that for the first time. I know you guys are a little younger than me. I was 24 at the time, I do believe, and seeing it, it just brought out the kid in me, and I was like, man, I can't believe I get to see this, on the screen. Amazing.
Like they did it.
Yeah,
they actually did it. And they did the first one, then they did the second one, and the second one's just stepping up. There it is. Andy, how was this rewatch for you? How'd it go this time around? Obviously, one of your favorite characters. How would this rewatch go?
Oh, baby. I threw this on Sunday. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect Sunday afternoon movie. Just threw my phone on the couch. It's like, go away. Not even going to look at you.
Wow.
Just be entranced by Tobey Maguire for 2 hours.
And enhanced.
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit better after I finish this movie.
But yeah, I mean, exactly. It holds up just like the first one. I think it just hit me in a very similar way. It kind of, the initial just like greatness of seeing Spider-Man definitely wasn't like worn off by this movie, but it was so good. I mean, like Scott said, perfect villain choice. Like I love when they can pull a villain that I really know nothing about out of thin air and just kill it on the first try. That's how you know that you have a good formula for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you guys. Love this thing. I'll fanboy out all day about this. Can't wait to talk about the story. We're not going to go scene by scene by any means. We're going to do this just like we did the first week. We're going to just rapid fire, kind of go through the story, where it picked up, and we'll just go through and kind of highlight our favorite parts. I will say there's some not problems with the movie, but I remember watching this when I was younger. Probably saw this thing just like the first one, probably 10 years ago, from like beginning to end, sit down and watch it. Now, of course, I've seen parts of it over the years. You see it on TV, or you have you'll throw it on for a minute or something. And I will say, as an adult watching this, I had the same thought as you, Scott. This is what kind of could teach other people out here how to make superhero movies. They are actually taking Peter Parker, putting it on screen, and I still feel this way. This is a Spider-Man that you could like grow old with. Like you're learning about him from the day one, and this movie, Spider-Man 2, picks right up after the first one. So basically, essentially, Peter Parker in this movie is kind of having a little bit of an identity crisis. Tobey Maguire comes back, just kills it again, and he's trying to do it all. He's trying to be Peter Parker. He's trying to be Spider-Man. He's trying to make a little bit of money. He's still broke, which I don't quite understand. Whenever you're bringing pictures of Spider-Man to the Daily Bugle and you're only getting $300, what is happening? Why are you not getting more money? It's on the front page of the paper.
Right.
But he's pizza delivery boy. You get the great opening scene of him, Spider-Man, saving some people, carrying some pizzas. The classic him coming out of that closet and pushing up the mops.
God, yeah.
Man.
Great.
Like just sticks.
Snatching the pizza from the guy on the balcony.
Oh yeah, he puts the balcony. The guy's like, free pizza? Nope. From the get-go, you get back introduced to Mary Jane Watson once again. James Franco's back as Harry Osborn. You got Aunt May back. Do you guys know that actress's name?
Aunt May?
Yeah, I don't know.
No idea.
She's back. She's here again. She's still upset about Uncle Ben not making it the first time around and saying, if I could just get my hands on whoever's responsible for this. And Peter's like,
oh, jeez.
oh, boy. Mary Jane's a famous actress. She did it. She's on Broadway.
Pictures everywhere throughout the city, billboards.
Like New York City,
Yeah.
like the biggest star.
Apparently an entire wall.
Yeah, at one
Just
point.
like 1,000
She's huge.
photos.
And he's just like, he's like, God, I'm trying not to think about her. Harry's there. He's like, you gotta go see her show, but he's also still pretty hung up on the fact that you're taking pictures of the guy that killed my dad.
Tell me about Spider-Man. Do you know Spider-Man?
Do you know him? Who is he? Your buddy?
Yeah, you got to tell me.
What?
He is.
Your buddy? You gotta go
Yeah.
take pictures of your buddy? Getting into it, man. I mean, right away, I like to talk about the story a little bit. This is where I like the movie because it's focusing on it takes its time. And I feel like when I first saw this movie, it seemed like a problem, right? It felt like, I was like, I don't know if I need to know that Peter Parker's missing college courses and he's not making it to his college class. And who's his teacher? He makes a comeback in Spider-Man.
That's the lizard.
That's him, right?
Yeah, Dr. Connors.
Dr. Connors. That's right. He's like, hey, Dr.
It's
Connors.
missing the arm.
Yes. Yep. And they actually go that route, right? In The Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man.
This one, they don't go that route.
Yeah, it kind of left you, where were they going to go with this?
Like in this one, he's literally just his teacher.
Yeah.
But you do see him again in the third one. We'll talk about that one next week. And he's basically trying to decide, like, am I going to be Spider-Man or am I not? And because of this is where it got kind of interesting, right? With the powers. His webs aren't coming out anymore. Like he can't, he's just, I mean, this is terrifying too. This is where the movie just shows you how well it's made. Yeah. Him in the middle of the sky, not being able to fling his web and screaming on his way down. I felt
shooting blanks.
And
hate when that happens.
It goes back to what we talked about in the first review. Remember, I was who cares? We don't need web cartridges.
No.
It's like he can make as much as he wants. Well, apparently not.
Right.
If you have a little self-doubt, it's kind of like a little bit of a performance issue. And he's struggling with it. He's like, am I going to go to this? I just want to go see MJ's play. I just want to not be so tired anymore. And he falls once again and into an alley, getting a little bit ahead of myself because this is where we get the big introduction to Dr. Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
Man, this character is so great. The scene with where we essentially meet the character, Harry Osborn gets Peter into a private screening of his fusion machine. Now, help me with terminology. Is that what he's basically doing? He's creating...
Yeah. It's making a sun.
He's
basically.
making a sun.
Yeah.
He's making a little...
Doesn't sound dangerous at all.
He's making a little tiny yellow sun out of tritium.
Yeah. Like
the rarest metal on Earth. And he's like, it's perfectly safe. He's like, hey, he jokes with his wife at the house. He's like, Peter here thinks I'm going to tear apart the whole city.
What an idiot.
And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, you can sleep easy tonight.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, the first demonstration, this goes off the rails. The sun gets too big. He's got the power of the sun in his hands. That's the big line. Gets his wife killed. Not only this, he has big these arms.
Octopus arms. Man,
go ahead.
I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. I was like, how does this look this good?
How did it?
And even rewatching it, I was like,
Yes.
this is great
2004.
CGI. And some of the pictures of him, or the footage of him swinging through the city, you were like,
Yeah.
not great. But
Mm.
man, those arms they spent the budget on those arms.
They looked real.
Yeah.
And I loved the chip on the back that keeps them from kind of getting into his head. That gets fried when his wife dies. And this is kind of the inevitable. He's going to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
These things are kind of taking over his brain. He gets a little bit of evil side to him, but they look just fantastic. And I really, 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 really loved the look and the feel of them. So where I was going before, he falls out of the sky a second time, and he hits a dumpster hard. This guy, he can really fall,
Man, like 100 feet.
and hit his head on a dumpster, fall in an alley, and he gets up and he's like,
oh, my back.
So can real spiders. You shoot them off your desk or your wall or
true.
something, they
Very
just
true.
freaking just live
That's exactly right.
everywhere.
That's why because that's what I told Carrie. I go, well, he's a spider,
Right.
Spider-Man.
Exoskeleton.
He decides though, I'm done. I'm not going to be Spider-Man anymore, and he's going to throw his suit away.
Got to put the glasses back on.
Oh man, I love that. It's like the powers are kind of slipping a little bit more, but his life starts coming back together.
Yeah.
We get that cool scene of him walking. Yeah, when he's walking to the university, he tries to do it without his glasses. He falls. You get that. That's the part where, as a kid, I thought this is a weird scene. The music, and there's definitely some creative freedom there of showing this free way of thinking, and he's like, I'm not burdened by feeling about being Spider-Man anymore. But it all starts coming together. His grades go up. MJ basically decides to leave her fiance,
Right.
the astronaut.
Yeah, Jonah Jameson.
I mean, give it up for J.K. Simmons.
Pictures of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's a menace.
He's a menace, and he quits, and they find his suit in the dumpster, which
puts
I was
it up on the wall.
Yeah, hangs it on the wall, and I was like, you definitely know this is the suit.
Right.
Come on. But he's like, I won. I got him to quit.
Yeah.
My whole plan worked. Kind of a villain in his own right.
Yeah, of course.
And help me out, guys, if you guys want to jump in with anything. I'm running it right now, but cut me off.
I loved the hospital scene where they're like, because I think he's dead, and they're
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. His arms just start throwing the doctors all around and surgeons.
Yeah, stabbing
just
people,
killing
and
everyone,
flailing around, and murdering all these, dragging them through the room. Man.
And not just it was shot like a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's Sam Raimi.
It's Sam Raimi, which is this is what we're looking forward to in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, some of this. But man, it was so intense.
Yeah.
I forgot how the noises, the sounds, the pure horror in all those doctors' faces. Just Dr. Otto, what do you call him? Doc Ock?
Doc Ock, yeah.
Dr. Octopus?
Yeah.
Is that's his full bad guy
name.
Yeah. And that's a fun scene. Jonah Jameson's they're going through the names.
Doctor Strange.
I love that.
I love it.
Love it.
Doctor Strange.
Already taken.
Oh man, that hospital scene. Oh my gosh, that one really caught me off guard. That was where Carrie at one point was covering her ears. She was like, this is really scary.
Yeah.
I was like, it is really scary.
It really solidified him as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is bad.
This is a bad guy. And what happens next? He gets out of the surgery. He uses his octopus arms to leave the hospital. He finds an abandoned place on the river, and he essentially, these little things these arms are kind of talking to him.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, he's like, man, I guess I just didn't calculate right, and now my wife's dead. Unless
right.
I couldn't have calculated wrong. I'm going to make another one.
Yeah.
Twice as big this time. This is the big evil plan. He's got to find out more. He's got to find more tritium. He's got to find money to do this. What does he do then to get the money? He goes and robs the bank. Just flat out, just a bank robber now.
Yeah.
He's got the glasses. He's got the coat. Who's there at the bank while he's robbing it? Aunt May and Peter Parker just trying to get a loan to not foreclose on the house.
From Joel McHale.
Joel McHale is in
yeah.
this movie.
That was great.
Aunt May can't even get the free toaster.
Right.
And when all the chaos goes down, and he's robbing that bank. Peter kicks her to the side, runs, and she's like, "Don't wait!"
Just real hero of a son you got there.
chases him down, grabs Doc Ock grabs Aunt May, going up that building, dropping her multiple times.
So stressful.
Oh, so throwing her up, throwing her down. Just the violent fight scenes. The arms punching Spider-Man in the face so hard. Like, just really looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
It looks real.
Little old lady just being thrown around like a rag doll.
Right.
She's tough.
She is.
And they throw her up to the top. She has her umbrella and she's just
just hanging. Like Granny's got the grip.
Let's see here. Where's it go next? So then Doc Ock decides, okay, I got to get tritium. How am I going to do this? Well, I'll go talk to my old friend Harry Osborn, who's still super upset.
Got it for me the first time.
Yeah, got me the first time. Goes to his apartment, says, can you get me more tritium? What's the deal? Harry Osborn says, I'll give you the tritium if you bring me Spider-Man alive. And he does, essentially.
Yeah.
But this is all happening in the middle of Peter Parker trying to just be Peter Parker, but just learns very quickly, like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And he goes and, I mean, let's just talk about the great diner scene. And him and MJ sitting down and her pouring her heart out to him. He's kind of thinking about doing it. And then the eyes get so wide. The spider sense goes off. That car coming in. I remember seeing this for the first time with him there, with MJ there. Because she doesn't know who he is yet. She doesn't know the big secret. That attack on that diner and just the fight that's getting ready to break out, you're just so pumped. But essentially takes her hostage. Right. Takes her and says, I'm gonna hold on to you until Peter delivers me Spider-Man. And it goes down pretty much. I mean, not like you think. This was kind of awesome, right? He goes to fight against Doc Ock. Doc Ock holds up his end of the deal, and he takes him to Harry's apartment.
Him. You know, the hero's lost.
Yeah, what was the fight there? What was the fight?
I think it was the scene before that where he went into the burning building to save the baby
as Peter Parker.
And then he came out and they were like, shame about that guy that was trapped on the 4th floor. And he was like, man,
I can't.
If only I had not quit being Spider-Man, I would have saved that guy for sure.
Yeah, he's relearning.
The baby had to help Peter Parker onto the floor when he was hanging down.
That's right. He's hanging down. He's got the little girl, and she's like, come here, I'm 3.
Right.
I'll help you up. The cutest little girl.
Right.
Should have won an Oscar, this girl.
Oh, yeah.
But he's relearning kind of the great power, great responsibility lesson all over again. He's like, gosh, dang it, if I only would have had it. I can't have it both ways.
Right.
Oh, and you have the scene of him at his apartment where he's just looking out the window, and he's like, am I not supposed to have what I want?
Right.
Like, cheesy, but also it works.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I think I had problems with this when I was younger, but like the more I watch this now, like, especially after everything I've seen now in the last 12 years, you want it to take its time. Like, I want to see what happens. I want to see Tony Stark like live through 10, 12 movies. Right. This is that Spider-Man. This is what they were they were trying.
Yeah. This is what happens to people. It's a story of a person
that's dealing with it.
Right. Like, you know, you think superheroes just have money. Like, no, he's got to deliver pizzas.
Has no money.
Right.
Yes. Still getting $20 from his Aunt May.
Yeah.
For his birthday.
Did he deliver us our pizza earlier? Was it late?
The rubber bands on it. Just sitting on the front porch when you got there.
And I go, I'm not paying for this.
All right. Bye.
Yeah. He walks off and I was like, yeah.
Mr. Aziz, is that what his name was?
I have to.
Yeah, his boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're just not reliable.
29-minute guarantee. You got to go 42 blocks.
It's a promise. 7 minutes.
Yeah.
He's on his bike. I'm like, get off that bike.
What are you doing?
You're Spider-Man. That's what I said in the beginning. I go, I know what happens here. I'm like, just be Spider-Man and get that pizza there on time. All right. Big scene with Harry Osborn. Finds out that Peter's Spider-Man. And James Franco, he does a great job in this scene. He's very shocked, but has to kind of put his feelings to the side for a minute because Doc Ock has MJ.
Yeah. But Spider-Man says it.
Yep.
So there are bigger things going on here than you and me.
Yeah. Which, in hindsight, though, maybe he should have handled a little bit better because,
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this end scene, but before we get there, because it's kind of like the last thing we see, it's the big battle time. It's time for Peter to go face off. We get the classic river scene, the big abandoned building. Doc Ock's there. He's got his fusion machine all hooked up again. And he pretty much gets it going right away. He's got MJ tied up on the side, and this sun is 3-4 times bigger than the first time around. And
sucking in the building, just debris everywhere.
what do you think he thought when he was like, when everything started sucking in again? You think he's like,
I've done it.
I got this.
This is it.
you two are like spot on. He's like, I'm nailing it.
Yeah.
It's
exactly what I thought was going to happen.
I'm a good scientist.
Yeah.
I'm a really good scientist.
I got these arms. No big deal.
MJ almost gets sucked in herself. She's wrapped around the chains.
Yeah, she's just got like random chains just like draped around her.
Yeah, and it's like pulling in her feet and ends up getting her back, but then she falls underneath that one big wall. But before we get there, Peter gives the speech of all speeches to Doc Ock to say, do you guys remember what he says to him to get him to change his ways?
Oh man,
I know.
I don't remember
It's
now.
basically like, you messed up, your wife's dead, and
come on, man.
Sometimes you gotta like stop and look around at what you're doing. And he's like, oh shoot.
Yeah. Oh, Peter.
Yeah.
Brilliant but lazy.
Brilliant but
There you
lazy.
go.
Oh, that's so great. Like, it clicks for him. He's like, oh, Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Right.
Convinces him to change his ways, and he talks down his octopus arms.
Yeah.
He says, I can do this. I can control these. We'll drown it.
Yeah.
We'll drown it. It's a river. We'll just put it in the ocean. We'll let it sink down the bottom. Bad plan on his part. He just kind of gets underneath it.
Yeah, just go, I'll just jump underneath it, pull it down.
And even when he was sinking, I'm like, can you not swim?
Right.
Like, those arms can swim.
I mean, they're probably heavy though.
Are they waterproof?
Yeah.
That's
They're
right.
apparently not electrically insulated.
Yeah,
Right, because that was the big thing that put him on his ass.
Right.
Was he holds up the big electrical.
Stab the wires. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
octopus can swim, so
Yeah. Oh,
guy
yeah.
sucks.
Obvious. How did we
Andy!
miss this?
He's an octopus.
I mean, not really.
But he's Doc Ock.
He has 8.
Right.
He has 8 limbs. That's the only reason why he's an octopus. He doesn't have suction cups, or he doesn't
He doesn't
like,
have all the
he doesn't
suction
have like
ink.
black ink
Ink,
that
yeah.
he squirts out at
I wish he
people.
would squirt ink.
Right.
Let's talk about this. This is a big Spider-Man powers part where I'm like, I don't know. When he catches that giant wall, the giant big wall that's falling on MJ, and he just catches it, and he's like, this is really heavy.
And then they have a whole long conversation.
About
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
She's like, Peter, it's you.
You do love me, don't
Yeah.
Can we-
Yes.
Can we do a quick upside down kiss real quick?
Yeah. And if not, I'll just try again with my fiance and be disappointed.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
She was
Very
really hung
weird.
up on Peter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Madly in love. And like really going through it. All right, Peter saves the day, saves MJ, and the last time we see Doc Ock, for now, he's going to the bottom of that river with his son.
Yeah.
And
His son.
well, not his boy.
S-U-N.
S-U-N. MJ, he tells her, doesn't she come back to the she decides to get married? Oh, that was what happened.
She left with John.
That's right. She was
came out of the giant web
yes.
that was on the crane.
Yes. And I forgot, we didn't even talk about her being runaway bride.
Yeah.
Running through the street in her dress and all that. And she finds out really quickly what it's like to be with Spider-Man. He hears the cop cars, he has to go. But yeah, that's essentially it. They're going to be together. They're going to give it a go. Any other big parts there before we get to the end scene with Harry Osborn?
I don't think so.
We missed
I mean, there's a
The-
lot of big
we-
parts we can come
yeah,
back to
well,
too, but
we-
go ahead.
the subway scene. That was probably one of the best.
Oh
parts
yeah,
of
the
whole
train scene.
Is that out of the comics?
Iconic.
Gotta be. Like, that is such an iconic just shot for me, movie-wise, for my life. Just, how am I going to
that
stop
fight.
this?
Amazing fight.
Movie. And just like
Doc Ock
the
versus
emotion
Spider-Man.
behind it all of just like all the people are just so thankful that he saved him. They're like,
Yeah.
your secret's safe with us.
You could,
Like,
yeah, he had just come back.
Yeah.
You know,
He had-
I'm
he had-
Spider-Man, you're back.
You're,
Yeah, the
oh,
kids.
because he had been missing for,
Yeah.
he's like, being Peter Parker for a while. It's in the paper. He's back. And how am I going to stop this train? He tries the leg. Then he uses all the webs, and he's just holding it. And yeah, that's pretty powerful. They like you catch him, pull him in, and
Loved
one
it.
of the guys is like, he's just a kid.
Yeah.
This is like, I got a boy that age. And then Doc Ock just knocks his ass out.
Still there. You know, like, you got to go through me. And, all the citizens come together. He's like, all right.
Yeah,
He splits them.
yeah. It's not like similar to the first movie, right? It's a little bit the same thing. Green Goblin, the people on the bridge throwing
Mhm.
stuff at him. we'll think about some big parts. Let's wrap up the story. So the end here, we got another shot of Harry Osborn back at the apartment. He's just still in shock that his best friend is Spider-Man. And he starts to hear a voice. Sounds pretty familiar. Makes a comeback. Mr. William Dafoe as Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin side, the evil side, basically in the mirror talking to him. What's going on here? Somebody talk to me about what do you think's going on here?
I think he's just breaking, all this trauma.
It's like a mental break.
Yeah, some sort of mental break.
And maybe it's like he had that mental break, so he's kind of knowing a truth that he's always known and now realizing, because why would Spider-Man kill my dad?
Yeah.
It's kind of what he's going through, right? And then he's like, oh, I think there was more to my dad.
Yeah.
And here it is. There's a secret bunker behind. Here's the green. I mean, I love this scene. Bringing back William Dafoe for the scene too was great. He looked great in the mirror.
Yeah.
And he finds all the goodies. He finds the glider. He finds the bombs. And this is all foreshadowing for things to come.
Yeah.
Little did we know then.
Yeah, we didn't know exactly. I mean, geez, can't wait to talk about this third one. But before we do that, what else in this second one? Any other favorite parts from the film, Scotty? How we do on the recap? Anything that we're missing that you like to talk about? Things that stick out for you?
I think that's pretty great.
I think we did a pretty good job.
The funniest part of the movie to me, this is just a dumb scene, but it's the beginning. Also, shout out the pizza company that he worked for is Joe's Pizza. Just fun fact. Just saw it while I was looking up this
Joe's
scene.
Pizza.
Just looking this up, but when he there's a scene where he rides his bike into the alley, I think, and then Spider-Man comes out with the pizzas, and some guy goes, Spider-Man just sold that guy's pizzas.
Yeah,
I died.
Because he goes in the alley and then comes out swinging. Hey, Spider-Man just stole that guy's pizza.
Yep, I loved it.
It's really good.
One of my favorite scenes was going to the theater. Bruce Campbell shows up. He's the usher. He comes in and he's like, it's your shoe.
Yep.
He ties his shoe and he comes up and he's like, just your tie. He fixes it. And then he keeps walking. And he's like, can I help you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm here to see the movie. No,
the show.
It's already started. So you're going to have to leave.
Who is that? Bruce Campbell?
Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Who's he? I mean, he looked very familiar, obviously.
He's been in a lot of Sam Raimi movies.
Okay.
What is the Necronomicon? Oh, man.
Deep cut.
Yeah.
Little Scotty with the deep cuts.
There's been a lot of sequels.
Mm-hmm. But I love that. Love that scene. Hilarious. Real good.
Very short Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah. What? It kind of like passes by.
Yeah. Saving someone from falling building debris during the fight.
I think Carrie goes, was that Stan Lee? And I go, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I go,
very short.
It kind of ended. I was like, I guess that's the cameo. And this one, it was just like, it's going to be like a pure cameo. Like very much like just part of the action.
Yep. 3 seconds.
Yep.
Blink and you miss it.
All right, guys. Spider-Man 2. Let's go ahead and do the fun part here and talk about how it made us feel. Let's start with our guest of honor today. Scotty, tell us any final thoughts you have on this, things that you love about it that you wish were better, but at the end of the day, I want to hear a rating.
That's a lot of watching it again. There was a lot of cheesy parts. And like I said, the CGI in some spots is a little iffy. Man, the arms were great. The fight scenes were great. The actors are all phenomenal. I would, for a long time, like I said, this is like the benchmark for, I think, superhero movies until like the first Avengers, Captain America 2. I would give this a solid 3.6 for me.
Solid.
Yeah.
I like that. Andy?
I'm going to go just a little bit below that, 3.4. But I echo literally everything he said. I mean, it holds up. It's very similar to the first one and like how I view them in the hierarchy of all these movies in these universes that we love. But I went back and watched it Sunday and I had such a good time. I probably hadn't watched it front to back in like a decade. Mm-hmm. Just another one where you just throw it on and it's always good wherever you pick it up, but you kind of appreciate it so much more when you sit down and watch it front to back. And I would do it again tonight if it was on.
Just watch it again.
Yeah.
Nice job, guys. Nice reactions. Nice fresh ratings, and I'm there with you guys. I'm a little bit more in the middle of the road. Can't wait to share my rating with you, but overall thoughts. I've seen this movie a lot. I mean, I've probably seen it upwards of 12, 15 times, and watching it now after all these years and everything that we've seen out of the MCU and all the DC live action stuff, and this movie is really, really good. You look at the stuff that look how we talk about like stuff like Titans that you would think it's it's on its third season, it should be coming together. This is a movie that they were trial and error at the point. They're like, let's give this a go. Let's see if we can do a franchise with a character in a superhero movie and do what we can. And I think I nitpicked a lot on the movie whenever I was younger. I will say there is some CGI that's just a little wild.
Yeah.
For example, like toward the end, whenever Spider-Man and MJ swing away from the
Yeah.
river, it's like
where
are you hooked?
where are you sending this web?
It's like he's hooked it somewhere and he's just kind of floating like away from the drain. It's like, okay, but like you can nitpick on that all day. The story I still think is there. The suit just looks amazing. I could watch this Spider-Man swing all day.
Yeah.
So fun. Can't wait to talk about the third one, but this is the second one. The rating I'm going to give you is a 3.3. Right there below you, Andy. And that's what we thought of this movie. What'd you think of it? Let us know at mostlysuperheroes.com. Other people online, of course, we want to let you know what the world thinks of this. It's got a 7.3 on IMDb, a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That it would be interesting to see like what it was like 12 years ago. What was it like 6 years ago? And like, I wonder if a lot of people are out there watching it again right now, like us.
Going back.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with, we're going to talk about it here and coming up, but worlds might be colliding.
Yeah, for sure.
Scotty, did we do one of your favorite movies justice?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, maybe we'll have to have you back for another Spider-Man flick. We'll see.
Anytime.
All right, Spider-Man 2. It's on Stars if you want to watch it. You can rent it. It's out there, and it'll be in our Mostly Superheroes Sony library. That's mostlysuperheroes.com/Sony. That's the Sony Spider-Man universe. We got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now we got a couple Spider-Man flicks in there for you, and more to come, because we're not done with Sony flicks just yet.